Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Michael Leach with Old Dominion University and Pro Auto Repair, and I am here to talk a little bit about my entrepreneurial journey myself. So I guess the first thing to go over is what we are. And Pro Auto Repair is a two-location auto repair business in Newport News, Virginia. I like to tell people that we work for families and small fleets. When people say, what do you do at Pro Auto Repair? That's what I say is we work for families and small fleets. So we are all makes, all models auto repair. We focus on high quality work. We have a 3-year, 36,000 mile parts and labor warranty. It's about the longest in the area that I know of. We do have a fleet of loaner vehicles that we offer people to be able to use free of charge. And we really focus on taking the sting out of this auto repair experience, either if it's through having easy access to online appointments, to having access to various different types of financing options for people, everything from a credit card type of situation all the way to no credit needed financing. Like I said, the long warranty, focusing on high quality work, being able to get vehicles back to people as fast as possible. Those are all some characteristics of Pro Auto Repair. Now, Pro Auto didn't start out like this. I like to tell people in jest that the Michael Leach School of Business has a lot of lessons from things you shouldn't do. I started my journey in 2005, was newly married, and was working at an auto repair shop, and I was studying engineering, and I was really looking for something better for myself. And I was doing side work. I had a little house and I had a nice garage behind it. So I was doing side jobs for people, fixing cars behind their houses. And unfortunately, the city got upset with me and decided that they didn't want me doing that anymore. So I got invited to go ahead and discontinue operations. So I went and I rented some space with a couple of guys I'd gone to high school with, and I was paying them, and then they were paying the landlord. And after a couple months, they decided they weren't very serious about what they were trying to do, and they stopped paying the landlord, who promptly came down and said, well, they're not paying the bills, so you're going to have to get out. So that was in June of 2005. And I realized I had an option at that point that I could either I had quit my part-time job, so I could either try to make a go of this business thing full-time, or I could go back to working for somebody else. And even though I really didn't have any money and didn't have a lot of options, I decided I was going to make a go of this business thing full-time. So I got in touch with a friend of mine who was trying to move out of a commercial space, an auto repair type of space. It was an estate, but it was cheap. It was on Warwick Boulevard. So I rented it. So one lift, one air compressor, and me. And I already had a Hampton business license, but I got a Newport News business license, and got myself started. And the place was a mess. We didn't have any money. I was constantly juggling money to try to pay the bills. Just getting the deposits together for light bills and water, and I was paying for all the parts cash. Just had a lot of uphill battles, and that's probably the least successful method to start a business, is to just try to launch it and bootstrap. But I will tell you what I did have, and that is that I had a very good head for business. I was really, really, really good, and I still am, at troubleshooting and repairing cars. I did own all the necessary tools to do the job already. So even though I was really unprepared, I was not quite as unprepared as some people are. I never got investors. I never borrowed any money. I kept working on establishing relationships and building the business. And as time went on, we incorporated in 2006 and continued to hire employees and continued to grow. We have been profitable every single year that we've been in business. I've never lost money. And as a matter of fact, the only year that we did not grow our revenues ever was 2025. In 2024, we did $1.4 million in revenues, and in 2025 we only did $1.3 million. We now have 8 employees. In 2019, I was able to purchase my competitor that's across the street. I spent just over $250,000 renovating his business, his shop, getting that up and running. So we now have 2 locations. And it has become Pro Auto has become, through a lot of work, a great business. And so kind of to tie it into the principles of the course, what I did have is I did have opportunity recognition. I saw that there was a place in the market where I was really good at what I was doing, and I was going to be able to offer these skills to people. And so this would classify as a job replacement type business at first. I was essentially doing the same job that I'd done for other people, right? I was fixing cars, but I was doing it for me. I really just cut the boss out. And over time, I realized that I wanted to make this more of an entrepreneurial venture, and kind of scale it, have a general manager running day-to-day operations, have auto technicians fixing cars for me, have admin help handling bookkeeping, accounting tasks, and allow me to focus on marketing, growing the business, recruiting, those kinds of things. And so that's what I do now. I did learn a lot about accounting, marketing. I went through a program at an organization called ATI, the Automotive Training Institute, which does management training for auto repair business owners. And I completed their program. It's a 4-year program, involved monthly traveling to Laurel, Maryland, near Baltimore, for training. I am an ASE certified master auto technician. I have the L1 and L3 specialty certifications. I'm a certified parts consultant. I have just about every automotive related ASE certification it's possible to have. I also am hybrid certified, but I have to recertify that certification. In 2013, I earned an associate's in business from Thomas Nelson, focused on accounting for that work. And then I took some time off. My wife needed to finish her master's degree, and we had a couple more kids. And then I decided I wanted to finish my bachelor's degree at ODU. And so now I'm a dual major at ODU in management and economics, which is the management side is what led me to entrepreneurship. The characteristics I think that it takes to be successful as an entrepreneur, obviously we talk about in this class, opportunity recognition is important. I will tell you that you have to find ways to create value for people. You have to find a way to take something or anything. You've got to find a way to value add to it and get people to pay you for that value add. One of the biggest mistakes I think that young entrepreneurs make is that they don't charge enough for their services, especially lifestyle and job creation type situations where people are technical experts in a field. If you are a technical expert in your field and you are truly top-notch in your field, then you need to be getting top-notch money for the work that you put into that field. It does not make any sense at all to say, I am an expert auto repair technician. I'm a master auto technician. I have advanced level certifications. I'm an ASE class, a very, very rare, 1 in 5% auto technician. And I want to go open this shop so I can make less money than I would make working for somebody else. That's ridiculous. It's absurd. But entrepreneurs will frequently do that because they think they have to charge less to get people's business. And no, what you need to do is you need to work hard. You need to market yourself. You need to know how to market your services, market your business. You need to know how to sell, how to compel people to believe that you are really good at what you're doing and convince them to come to you. And then you need to be really, really great at customer service, deliver a great product and keep them coming back. So you build your company. You need to be great at all of those things as an entrepreneur, in addition to being good as a technical expert if you're going into job replacement, or if you're going into lifestyle type businesses. Now, if you're going into trying to build a scalable company, if you're really entrepreneurial, you say, which is kind of what I'm working on now, is trying to say, well, I want to get Pro Auto to where this thing stands on its own 2 feet. And if I walked away for 6 months and you could not find me when I came back in 6 months, Pro Auto would be healthy, profitable, would have happy customers, that the business would do business the way that I envision business should be done. And when you start to work on scalable ventures, then you're looking at more of the B type skills of building processes, building communication, recruiting, hiring. You have to go find people to believe what you believe in, and you have to get them on board with you, and you got to build a team and get them all pulling in the same direction to create that scalable kind of venture. But it is really pretty magical when it's going well. It's really, really nice when you see somebody that you recruited and you trained and you brought in, and you convince them to do business the way that you think is the best way to do it, and they do it and they're successful, and you just help somebody become more successful than they had ever been before. That's a really amazing feeling. But that's where your B school of process building, communication, a really sharp understanding of business accounting, profit and loss. I will tell you that one final parting thing that I've said is, I think there are a lot of smart people in the world, and it can be very hard to outsmart people or to be smarter than people. Your competition can be very, very smart, and they might be smarter than you. And it's hard to be smarter than people, but I've found that it's not hard to outwork people, that a lot of people don't work as hard as they should. And I will tell you one thing that can be used to leverage your success is you can work really, really, really hard. Like they say, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. You're not going to go into job replacement or lifestyle type businesses and not be a technical expert and be successful. You can't be a bad auto mechanic and open a good auto repair business unless you're just a really, really great business person. But you can be a really, really talented auto technician that knows nothing about business, and you can try to open a shop and you can completely lose your shirt. But if you're a talented auto technician, you're an intelligent person, and you work really, really hard on your education and work on your business and work on growing your business. And I'm not going to lie to you, when I was growing this business in 2006 and 2008, I didn't take a vacation until 2011. So 5 years with no vacation whatsoever. I worked 6 or 7 days a week. I frequently worked 70 to 80 hours a week. There was a time there where I was a single parent, and I made it happen. I found babysitters. I had my kid in a playpen in my office. I would do whatever I had to do to be able to make my business successful, and I was able to pull that off. But the fundamental reason was, I was already a very good auto technician, and I worked really hard, and I worked really hard on studying and learning to be a businessman and learning to be a good businessman to be able to have success. And so I hope that this video adds some value to your life if you've taken the 10 or 11 minutes out of your day to watch it. I've enjoyed talking about it. And I'm looking forward to the next stage of my journey. We want to open another business, and I hope that if you watch this, you want to open a business, and I hope you're successful. I want to see you be successful. So good luck. And this is Michael Leach from Pro Auto, and ODU. I'm signing off. Thanks.